Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly, Doctora.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee who invited us to speak about Our Lady of the End Times. So, since Brother has already mentioned what happened during my conversion, I just want to reiterate how I felt when Mama Mary touched me. So on August 26, I committed myself to help Edsel with his mission. And a month later, as Edsel mentioned, he saw the words Placere ore exhibit gladius acutus voca. And he called me, and since I was a little bit skeptic, I did not go right away to his place. The following day, out of curiosity, I went to his place after my rounds at around 8:30 in the evening. So when I saw it, I prayed to Mama Mary if it was really from her. And right there and then, I was really surprised. I didn't expect her to give me a sign at that moment. So I saw the letter V appearing gradually, and I even shouted at Edsel, and I said in our Ilong words, Edsel, Edsel, kasulat naman si Mama Mary. So I blurted it out because I really knew it was from her. So Edsel and her sister came, and we were stunned. We were really surprised. It was really marvelous. I couldn't really explain how I felt. I felt peace in my heart. At the same time, I asked forgiveness because I knew that I had doubted her, I doubted Edsol. So it was really superb. We did not really know what it meant until 4 days later, Edsol sent me a note through a medical representative who came into my clinic. I thought she would just cover, but she gave me a piece of paper, and when I unfolded it, I saw the translations of both the Placere ore exhibitus gladius voca, which Edsol mentioned, and what struck me most was the volue miam cosem, which meant love me, value me. I told my secretary not to accept patients for that moment because tears flowed from my eyes, and I was really asking for forgiveness from Mama Mary because I neglected her and I was ignoring her. But I am a devotee of the Divine Mercy. So when I pray the chaplet of the Divine Mercy. I really pray the chaplet fervently, but when I pray the rosary, I fall asleep. So I really cried and asked for forgiveness. I felt that I was like a lost sheep, and Mama Mary came to my rescue. And I'm so glad that Mama Mary gave me this chance while I am still alive. So this only happened for 3 weeks, and it disappeared. And as the priest said, it was a private revelation for me. Because Mama Mary is preparing me for a greater mission. Then on December 23, I came back to greet Mama Mary Merry Christmas. While I was praying, I suddenly saw the letter M gradually appearing again. But as Elso mentioned, I had an emergency, so Maria was there at the same spot where the volue miam cosem vanished. So I felt that that was really a sign that Mama Mary is preparing me. And true enough, because last June 14 of last year, Edsol informed me to speak to the people of the Diocese of San Carlos. That's the diocese of Bishop Jerry. That's around 2.5 hours from Bacolod. So I felt unworthy. This will be the first time I will talk about Our Lady, about Mama Mary. I was scared, I was anxious, I was apprehensive, I had sleepless nights, and I prayed to Mama Mary to guide me. And the day before we went to San Carlos, when I made my rounds, when the the elevator opened, I saw a man wearing a shirt, and in that shirt, there was a verse from Isaiah 42, verse 10. And the verse, I quote the verse is, "Have no fear, I am with you." Those were words from Mama Mary. I know that. And I was assured that I will be able to share my testimony joyfully and with conviction. And the last manifestation of our mother was very recent, last August 20 of this year, 2020. I visited again the place of Edsol, the chapel of Mama Mary, and I prayed to her. But while I was going out, while I was leaving the chapel, I saw her crying. Tears were flowing from her eyes. So I came back and I tried to console her and ask forgiveness for my sins and for the sins of the whole world. It seems that she is conveying a message to all of us that we have to pray hard, pray hard. So this is the story of my conversion. So now I will be proceeding to the story of healing. So first of all, last June of 2019, that was last year, my friend, a Carmelite missionary who was based in Rome, came over because of her ailing mother. Her mother had a severe pneumonia and she was very septic. She's critically ill. And I brought her to the place of Edsol. So I told Edsol at around 9 o'clock, I called him because it was around 9 in the evening to open us because I wanted my friend to pray to Our Lady. So while she was praying, she saw tears flowing from the eyes of Mama Mary. So she requested Edsol to wipe the tears of Mama Mary, and she brought it to her mother. And when she brought the handkerchief to her mother was very, very ill, and they were just waiting her to go. So they prayed the rosary, and she placed the handkerchief over the head of her mother, the body of her mother, and she really prayed fervently. The following day, when she woke up, she saw that her mother's face was very, very radiant, and her mother was speaking to her, and she believed that it was really a miracle from Mama Mary. So and then a few days later, her mother was discharged, and she celebrated her 94th birthday. So we really thank Mama Mary for that, for the gift of life. So I think this is not the only mission of Sister. She came here for her mother, but she also came here because she's a missionary, and she brought stampitas to all over the world. She went to Guatemala, she went to Spain, she went to Portugal, she went all over the world and brought the stampitas to these people. And I also asked her what the Placere Ore Civitus Gladius Voca meant, and she also mentioned that it was really it's about Mama Mary and those priests who translated it were right. And then another healing miracle also occurred. And in fact, by the way, Sister also told me that another meaning of Placere Ore is speak joyfully the words with conviction. So she left the Philippines and went back to Rome. Another healing miracle occurred to a patient of mine last December. She is a 29-year-old pregnant woman, term 38 weeks, but she was bleeding profusely, so she had to deliver right away. So I was called for a clearance, and since the it was an emergency and the ECG was normal, she was young, she had no other comorbidities, so I cleared her. However, in the middle of the operation, I was called because the blood pressure was palpatory. We did not have the patient had tachycardia or the heart rate was very high. The patient was very pale and they only had 2 units of blood. The patient had to be intubated. She had seizures. She had minimal urine output. And we only were able to transfuse 2 units of blood during the operation. And she lost 6 liters of blood. We gave her plasma expanders and she was brought to the ICU. So while I was there and I was alone with her, I prayed. I really prayed to Mama Mary. I got the stampita and also to the Divine Mercy. I prayed to Jesus and I asked Mama Mary to help this young woman who has 2 kids. I really begged and I told her to give her a chance to live, to take care of her children. And so I placed the stampita on top of her abdomen. Then I left to eat my dinner. It was late. I came back and I saw a lot of people outside at the laboratory and I asked who they were. It was around 10 in the evening and they said, those are the donors of my patient. So I was so happy. I thank Mama Mary for that. So she was transfused and the following day, when I arrived, I was really stunned. I was surprised and I saw her around 7 in the morning. She was writing a note to thank me. And I said, thank Mama Mary. Thank the Lord, she says. They were the ones who gave you a miracle. So I praise God, I praise Mama Mary for that great miracles they did to my patient. And so, but my patient had to undergo dialysis. It was just temporary because she had minimal urine output. She had a heart attack. She had a myocardial infarction because of the anemia. And she also had pneumonia. She developed seizures. She had a stroke, everything. But that was just temporary. And she had a total blood loss of 6 liters. So that was really impossible. And she was brought back to the regular room and she recovered. And in fact, she came to me last May 15 and she gave me an image of Mama Mary and I told her to visit the place of Edsol and pray and thank Mama Mary for what she has done for her. So she did. She went there and prayed. So those were the 2 miracles I witnessed because of Our Lady of the End Times. And I think we are just given the chance to witness all this so that we will really believe in Mama Mary. Like me, I was really so skeptic, but I'm so glad that I'm still alive and Mama Mary gave me this chance to know her better. And of course, I just want to thank all of you who is now attending this. And I just want to reiterate that Mama Mary really loves us. She loves us, she values us, and she cares for us. So with this, I would like to thank all of you. Ave Maria. Thank you.
Ave Maria, and thank you very much, Dr. Villacin.